Hello and welcome back. Today I have another ink review. It's another ink sample. And this one I might be pronouncing it wrong, but Atramentis is the company and the color is called Cherry. And this I bought from the Goulet Pens company. So they have a lot of great samples. One moment here. All right, I had to make sure I have the volume up so that so you can hear me. Okay, so the color is called Cherry, and let's give it a try and see what it looks like. If you're new here, I am new to fountain pens and fountain pen inks, and I like to do swatches and see what everything looks like because it doesn't always look like how you expect it will. But this definitely looks like a cherry red, so let's see. I will also be testing this out on some regular copy paper and some HP 32 copy paper, as well as some Tomoe River paper. All right, get a little bit more here. This is a really pretty red. I think it fits the name well. It looks kind of like a really dark syrupy cherry color. I'm just going to wash this off real quick. Okay, and then we'll write the name. Hopefully I don't get the ink all over myself this time. I'll clean off the pen. And this is Cherry. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll set this aside to dry, and then we will test it on some papers and see how it looks when you write with it. Okay, so here is the copy paper. Got that. And this does not have shimmers, so I don't need to shake the bottle in between. So that'll save us a little time. Oops. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay. Get myself better organized here, I think. I'm trying really hard not to get the ink up on the handle. Okay, there we go. Let's give this a try. So this writes really nice. The ink feels really good going down on the page, although this is just copy paper. It's like the cheapest paper possible. So if you are using copy paper, and for your writing, this is what that ink will look like. We'll take a look at it and see if it's feathering or anything. It looks like it is feathering, which is fine because this is just copy paper. But swatches and stuff won't show this typically, so that's why I like to do this. Let me see if I can actually spell this correctly. Okay, bad handwriting aside, let's take a look at this. So it does look like there is some feathering you can see around the edges of the writing, but this is a beautiful cherry red. Very pretty color. If you like the color and you don't care about the feathering and you're going to just use this at work or something, it's probably fine for that because you do get the lovely color regardless of whether it's feathering or not. Alright, and let's do the HP 32 paper. Now this, if you've never used HP 32 before, it's just copy paper, but it's a little bit higher quality. It's smoother, and the ink usually performs better on it than on regular copy paper. Yeah, and instantly it already feels smoother. So that's pretty typical. Every time I use this paper, right after using the copy paper, I can feel the difference. So that was just glides effortlessly. This is HP 32. Okay, and we'll do some, I'm wondering if there's any shading, so let's see. It looks like there might be a little bit. Let's take a look at that. Yeah. This has some beautiful shading, and this is just on the HP 32. We haven't even got to the Tomoe River yet. So if you're using a paper similar to this, it might be worth it for this ink. because it does seem to be shading very nicely. So let's put this on here. This is an ink that I have not tried in any of my pens yet or anything, so I'm really curious. If it shades this nicely, I might have to get a larger bottle. I don't typically use a lot of reds, but this one's beautiful. That's assuming that this is even still available. I don't always know, you know, when I buy a sample, I don't always notice if it's like a limited edition or something. So if this is a limited edition, I apologize, but hopefully it'll still be available, and I'll try to put a link down below where you can get it. This is Tomoe River. And this is D. Okay, we'll try some lines. I notice sometimes when I draw lines more slowly, because I tend to write pretty fast and messy, and if I draw some slow lines, a lot of times, if there is shading, you'll be able to see it. So this is to make up for my terrible handwriting, which I need to work on. I know the first thing I have to do is slow down because I try to go too fast, and then it's really impossible to work on your handwriting and to do better if you're, you know, writing quickly all the time. Okay, you got to slow down to learn. So interesting. There's a little bit of feathering on this also, but the shading is beautiful. So this was not expected. I was expecting this to not have any feathering, but it does, and that's why I do these tests. So, okay, so again, this is a copy paper. It looks like there is some shading. You do see some. It's not really prominent or anything, but it's there. But then you go to the HP 32 paper, and not only do you see the lovely shading much better, but there's no feathering. So this might be the best paper to use, which is bizarre because normally the Tomoe River paper shows off all those wonderful properties. Now you do still see the shading on this, but if you see up there like on the loops, there's definitely some feathering there. So I'm wondering if maybe it's because of the amount of ink I put down. So maybe if I had like a super fine nib, this would not feather on the Tomoe River. I don't know. It's very interesting. And then here is the swatch card that we did. And you can see this is just the most beautiful color red, beautiful shade. And there's a little bit, you can see the shading in the drop there and in the writing a little bit, but this is a gorgeous color, honestly. It's like velvety. So I really like this one. Even though I'm not a fan of reds, I like this red, and I would definitely put it in a pen and use it. But now I'm wondering what I will use it on because it's definitely feathering. So this might be one where I have to do further tests, maybe try it in a superfine nib and see if that makes a difference. I don't really know because, I mean, again, I don't know very much at all yet about fountain pens or fountain pen inks. But I'm just shocked that this HP 32 seems to have performed the best as far as it not feathering. The only thing I can think of is, you know, maybe I was putting down too much ink on the Tomoe River. But, you know, the only way to control that, since I use the same pen, would be to use a finer nib, like an actual, like maybe a dip pen. In fact, you know what? I have an idea. I have a dip pen. Let me, like, I don't know if this is going to actually work. Oh, you know what, though? I don't know if I want to... I don't know if I can get this to fit down there. This might be a fool's errand here, but let's see what happens. Guess worst case scenario, I dump my paint or dump my ink everywhere. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work at all, but for science, right? I need a much more shallow inkwell to work with, I think, here. Yeah, but this isn't giving us like a finer line, really. Yeah, it's catching. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know what needs to be done differently. I'd have to put this in a fine nib pen to know if that's what's causing the issue. But anyway, it was worth it to just get the Curiosity taken care of. Yeah, it's feathering really bad on that, so that didn't do anything. And that, honestly, I think that that line isn't any more fine than what I had before. I did have a very, very super fine dip pen, and that was what I was originally going to grab, but I forgot that it broke when it fell. I ordered a new one. The nibs are like $2 for those dip pens. They're so cheap, but it's not here yet. So whenever it arrives, maybe I can come back to this. This one I might have to set aside. Anyway, that's why I do this. This is why I do these tests, because you never know. You can make assumptions all you want, but this just means I have more to learn. I need to go back and learn more about why there'd be feathering on this, you know, what causes it other than cheap paper, because the Tomo River is not copy paper. So yeah, I have more to learn, and if you guys know, and if you think that a fine nib pen would, you know, fix the problem with the feathering, let me know. Otherwise, it's a really pretty ink that I will definitely have to find a pen to put it in and somewhere to use it. I think this would be, just based on the swatch, that would be beautiful to paint with. That's what I'm thinking. But anyways, if you enjoyed this, please give the video a like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below of any inks you'd like to see me swatch. If I can get them, I will swatch them for you. You have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.